Welcome back to another episode of Unpacking Life with the Bucks, Ricky, and the basket, Vanessa. No basket for us, though.
No.
Cool. So we were talking about how annoying our kids were earlier, and how spoiled they were, and how they don't listen, and how they just want their tablets, and the oldest one doesn't want to come out of his room, and he just wants to be on his computer with his boys all day. And got us talking about modern day parenting and how difficult it is. So before we get into it, though, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we appreciate y'all listening, watching, however you're getting our content.
We do.
So we'll get into it.
Hearts.
Is that a heart?
Yeah.
No, it's like this, remember? That's we just learned that. What is it? The Korean way of saying heart?
That's a heart, yeah.
Is it supposed to be? What is it symbolize?
That's a heart.
Oh.
Your fingers are too sausagey.
Okay, that's a little insulting.
So, what are modern day challenges?
Everything.
I just gotta say, I loved being a kid in the 90s. Like, looking back, when you're a kid, you're always like, oh, I don't want to be a kid. And it was just great. Like, we had...
Did you guys have, like, a bunch of electronics?
We had a TV in our room. We had a landline.
Each one?
Each one. We had... well, my brothers had, like, the video consoles.
Uh-huh.
And then when
For
cell phones
Nintendo?
came out, I had, like, the Nokia, the one that did the snake.
The brick?
Yeah. And it was just great. Like, I wish sometimes we could go back to those days. Because it was... like so simple, and like we played outside a bunch as kids. We had our phones, like just enough but not too much. Like the long text that I send now, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine texting that on that old Nokia. It would probably like fry the phone. Yeah.
Remember when T9 came out though?
T9? No.
T9 texting. So remember before, obviously, each number had letters.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd have to hit, like, the number 2 3 times to get a C. 1, 2, 3.
Mm.
And then N was, like, 6. You'd have to 1, 2, 3. And, but then when T9 came out, you could just hit, like, if you were trying to spell Ricky, you could just hit, like,
At once.
7, 5. I don't remember exactly.
Like it would figure it out.
Yeah, like 7, 9, 5, 4, 3. And then it would be like Ricky. And it would like spell it out like, oh crap, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then now they just give you a whole freaking keyboard on your phone.
Yeah.
Or you could just do a little swipe. The
I
swipe
love
thing
texting.
never works.
Oh, you do that all the time. I hate that.
I try.
I like texting on my laptop.
Yeah.
That's how sometimes I text the wrong people. Or in the wrong thread. But typing is easier than...
Yeah.
It was just like we had enough technology, but not too much. Like now we have too much, for sure.
Uh-huh.
And then we can't like... We know it's too much. We know we look at it too much. We know we consume too much, and we don't stop.
Well, it's just... It has to be a balance, though, because, like, that's what the world's going to is more technology.
AI everything. What did
yeah.
Brandon just send you about the actors with the AI?
Oh, that they're, like, on strike.
Uh-huh.
Because they're just using people... They're bringing in, like, casts for, like, background stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just paying them, like, one day to do a full body and voice scan. And then they're basically signing the rights over to that scan and voice for their life. So
for AI to
use, like, background actors and stuff. And so then they can make them do or say anything. But, yeah, I mean, we're advancing at a really high speed now.
Mm-hmm.
But...
The Jetsons predicted it.
Yeah.
Soon we're going to have flying cars. I think they already have flying something. Like flying delivery drones or something like that.
No, probably.
But back to parenting. I just have to say that I love being a kid in the 90s.
Yeah.
I would love to raise my kids in the 90s, but I say that, and of course I wasn't a parent in the 90s, so I didn't know the economical challenges,
Yeah.
like all that. So it's easy for me to say.
Oh, we'd
I
be
know that.
millionaires now. Knowing what we know now, if we were to go back.
Oh yeah, we would just cheat the system
billionaires
somehow. Anyway, but
so Vanessa grew up in Germany in the 90s, and
Mm-hmm.
I was in the U.S. So it was, I'm sure, different but similar
Mhm.
at the same time, because I grew up poor, and I think we had one TV in the house. So if my dad was watching it, we weren't allowed to do anything with the TV. Like, we could watch whatever he's watching, and that's about it.
Mhm.
But we were outside all the time. And when I
Same.
was old enough to like ride my bike, I'm trying to think of like the house that we were in, because I think we lived right behind the school. So all my friends would come over to my house, and we'd go in my backyard, and we'd hop the fence into the school, and then we would just run amok at the school.
Mhm.
And we would like take our bikes and ride them around town. We'd go to like the public library and use the computers. Back then, when we wanted to see a booby, we'd have to go to like channel 99 at night. It was all fuzzy, and then we'd all sit around the TV, be like, was that a boob? Was that a nipple? It was so funny.
Bad. I was trying to Google how far, because when you said bike, we did that a lot too. Like, we would either take the bus, because like public transportation in Europe is like normal, like you don't have to fear your life or whatever, but it's not sketchy by any means.
Mm-hmm.
Or we would take our bike to the Schwimmbad, which is like the outdoor pool.
Yeah.
And we did all kinds of fun stuff, and
Yep.
rode our inline skates. We didn't have like a lot of like roller rinks like you guys have, but like we just like rode it outside.
Oh man.
And it was different sports. Like, there was no football,
Yeah.
no cheerleaders, no
Mhm.
huge, like I was into dance at some point.
I remember your Backstreet Boys skit. We should watch that with the kids tonight.
You know where that is?
Yeah,
Where is it?
I'll find it. We'll watch it tonight.
But as parents, that's one thing I'm proud of. Like, right now we're recording and our kids are outside playing.
Yeah.
And they have no intention of coming inside.
No.
As a matter of fact, we were saying that we need to wrap up like recording because we feel bad. And like we need to take them somewhere or like do something with them.
Yeah.
And if we tell them like we're going to take them for ice cream, obviously they're going to want to go. But if we tell them to come inside, they don't want to come inside.
Yeah.
And I think that's missing.
And we're also in a unique area of the neighborhood, though,
Mhm.
because we're comfortable letting them play outside because we live in a cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
And there's, I think, 10 houses, 11 houses in the cul-de-sac. And most of the houses have kids, so they all know each other. All the parents are always kind of keeping an eye out through the window for each other's kids.
Or they're outside actually right now.
Yeah. And they know not to leave the end of the cul-de-sac. They know not to like play in the street, or if a car comes up into the cul-de-sac, they'll all run to the middle or jump on in the driveways. And then once in a while they'll walk to the park that's around the corner. So
yeah, usually the park, and like one of the parents always goes with them.
Yeah.
And like our office faces the cul-de-sac, so like, and right now we can see out and we can see them. So like nothing's gonna happen to them. Things happen, but they're self-inflicted wounds. And I realize that like we're lucky in that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember actually the first time, so this house we built, it was not custom built, it was just a production build. Like you go, you pick a lot, you pick a floor plan, you pick some finishes, and then that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And we were debating between this lot and like another lot.
Because we wanted a 3rd-car garage.
Yeah, and this other house, they wanted like $30,000 up front to like finish the basement.
Yeah.
And we had no money. Like, we were broke as a joke. And we're like, we can't do that. Where are we going to get that money from?
Yeah.
So then this other builder, there was 2 builders in the neighborhood. They had this lot, and we were not even like, it was not on our radar to like be in a cul-de-sac because of traffic, nothing. And we had already had 2 kids, so we should have had it on our radar, but we didn't. And so we picked it, and the house gets done. And our bedroom upstairs also faces the cul-de-sac. So when I'm doing laundry on the bed, I can also see the kids. So one day, I remember the first day that Dion and Aubrey went outside to play with other kids in the neighborhood, and made me so happy. I was like, oh my God, they're outside playing.
She was crying.
I was not crying.
You cried. And you were taking a video.
Oh. Well, I was happy.
We'll look through your pictures. I bet you still have the video.
Okay.
You can hear
Whatever.
yourself sobbing.
But
I'm so happy.
If you have kids and you're moving, a cul-de-sac is a great move, especially if there's other kids.
Yep.
So, it is a unique situation. I do realize that, like, you know, some parents might not feel comfortable. Like, if you're in a through street, like, there's assholes. People drive like assholes.
Yeah.
You don't want your kids to play outside. You can't sit outside with them all day either. Yeah. You might not have a backyard. You might not live. You might live in an apartment, townhouse. So we realize all that, and we're not trying to throw it in anybody's face, but that's our situation, and that's how it does make parenting for us easier, which is wild. But like, there's been drama with the kids. There's been like little disagreements. It helps them in so many ways because they play outside more than the average kid. Yeah. And I think it's taught them some valuable life lessons. Like, they try to come inside and tattle. We don't let them typically. Yeah.
Usually
we make them figure it out.
My go-to when they come in to complain, like, go figure it out. Yeah. I don't want to hear about it. If you come in here complaining again, you're coming inside.
Yeah, and they don't want to come inside.
Yeah, so we won't hear about it.
And like, Dion is older. He's 14. He's not playing outside anymore. Like, it's sad in a way because
his ass out of the house.
The kids that he played with, they also don't come outside anymore because they're older. Like, they're teenagers, cool. And he will go, like, he'll walk to the park or to the basketball court and play basketball, or him and his friend will ride their bike to go get like bad drinks from the gas station or do something else. But I feel okay with that because, like, there's a balance. Yeah. And he had those years already, and like, I realized that he's gonna outgrow it. Like, I wasn't at 14 and 15. I was still spending time outside and like doing stuff, but I wasn't playing like the younger kids were playing.
Not riding little electric cars and stuff.
Right. So.
But it's good. But yeah, I guess the biggest challenge for us is just keeping up with like the different technology and still trying to have them not be tied to it all the time. Yeah. Right? Because they have to learn how to work a tablet. And they have to learn how to work a computer, a phone. This is going to be a integral part of their life when they grow up. So obviously they have to have that knowledge of,
and they learn it so fast.
Though. Yeah. But then it's a balance of not letting them be on their damn tablet all day, because we do have days where they don't want to go outside or the weather's bad, and
they're bored.
And they
have a house full of toys and stuff, and they're not good at playing with toys. Yeah. They're good at playing outside. They can spend all day playing outside. But they're not good. Like, if they come in, they want to like
do something,
be on electronics, which is not good. But we try to limit it, but we're not perfect.
We started getting them those little Lego sets. So it's like a Lego set that you can build like 3 or 4 different things out of the same Legos. So we try to do some productive stuff with them.
My mom got them into that when they were in Florida this summer, because Gianni loves to play with toys. So our nephew is 10 days older than Roman, and they're 5. And he was an only child for a while. He has a sister now, but so he loves playing like pretend with animals and Legos, and he's like super into playing with toys. And our kids are not. Like, they're into playing with toys when someone else wants the toy. Yeah. Like, if Aubrey right now came in and pulled out one of like anything really, Roman would want to play with it. Otherwise they don't. And like, when friends come over, they play with toys and stuff. But I mean, it's hard because you need them to know technology, but really they're so quick at learning it. Like, they know enough about technology at this point where we could take the tablets away and they'd be fine. I mean, they have tablets in school, they have computers in school. Like, it's a lot very technology heavy, but We do make them read quite a bit. So Dion loves reading, so that's good.
Aubrey does too.
Aubrey does too. And Roman has just learned reading.
Yeah.
And he wants to read everything. Like at a restaurant, he'll try to read everything. Yeah. And like, so the jury's still out if he will love reading, but hopefully he will.
Yeah, we usually force him to make deals with him. Like, you can play on your tablet if you read for X amount of time, or go read 30, 45 minutes before bed. Like, you can either go to sleep or you can read. So the older two kind of took to it and they started reading. But yeah, we'll see about Roman. He's the kid. He has like the most energy out of everybody. Like, he always has to be doing something, or even when we send him to bed, we catch him on his camera. We have a little camera in his room to keep an eye on him, and we'll catch him doing body slamming his pillows and stuff, and diving from the top rope onto his bed. So we'll see, but
it's just as they get older. Like, Dion has a cell phone now.
Yeah,
and like right now it's very controlled what the little ones get to see.
Yeah.
And even that sometimes is like, it's a kid show, but it's sketchy. Like, they shouldn't be watching it. So like filtering through all that, making sure it's not something that like teaches them bad values or something like, I don't know, just bad in general. And then when they get older, that's a whole new can of worms of like
I know.
Predators and like bad things that they can get into. So
not even predators, just the new groups of people that they hang out with in school, and
peer pressure, and like for girls especially, like, social media and all the like fake stuff that they see that they think is real, and they think they're not pretty, and like have
their self-worth problems. And so I guess I saw this thing a long time ago saying, don't tell your kids that you're proud of them. And if they ask you, like, are you proud of me? Like, the goal isn't to make your parents proud of you. It's to be proud of yourself. So obviously we still give them praise for stuff that they do. And, but we also try to instill that self-confidence of them being proud of themselves and whatever they're doing. So if like Aubrey finishes, I don't know, a puzzle or something, and she's like, look, Dad. I'm like, that's awesome. You did great. And usually she's like, I know, I did it all by myself. I'm like, good job, girl.
I'm proud of myself.
Yeah. So even doing like their martial arts and stuff, they'll get a stripe or do some accomplishment, and it's always like, good job. Like, you did the work. Like, you put in all the hard work for it. Like, you should be proud. And usually if they ask me, like, are you proud of me? I'm like, yeah, but are you proud of yourself? And they're like, yeah, I am. So just trying to build that self-confidence. And
I think in life, growing up and as a grown-up, one of the biggest pitfalls is caring too much about what other people think.
Yeah.
And trying to please other people and fit into a mold instead of like doing things for yourself and doing things to make yourself proud and doing things that you want to do.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to be influenced by social media, other people, whatever, to where like we try everything we can to like not to get them to think that way. Even like when Aubrey's recently like have had problems with friends in school, I try to tell her like, this is an example of what I went through, and like at the end of the day, as long as you have yourself, and I tell her your family, because we're always going to be here.
Yeah.
Then that's really all you need. Like, friendships are going to come and go. And if people change and you don't like how they treat you or how they make you feel, you don't have to be their friend. Don't do what they want you to do to make them happy. What makes you happy? Yeah. But it's just so hard.
I know.
I had Dion when I was 21.
Yeah.
I was just a kid. I had no idea what I was doing. Poor kid. He turned out probably the best, and he had the most damaged, like, I don't know. It's just, you're growing up with them. We both did. So, but it's just so hard to like, you want to teach them all these things, but like,
and they're all different. So like,
learn.
you can't
Yeah.
I can't do with Roman what I do with Dion when he was his age, or I can't do with Dion what I do with Aubrey. Yeah. And like they're all their own little humans, own personalities, and so it's really difficult. But I always tell the kids, like, when they ask me, like, are you proud? I'm like, listen, me and mom are always gonna be proud of you, no matter what you do. We will be proud of you, unless you do like drugs or some bad shit. But like, we're always gonna be proud of you. So our opinion's always gonna be that you did great, but the only opinion that matters is your own about yourself.
But they need to hear it too.
Yeah, of course. And like I said, we always give them praise.
Yeah.
So positive praise. And you always have to throw in a but. Like, you did great, but next time, do this. You'll be better.
No, you don't do that, because then they grow up feeling like they can never be good enough.
I had an old command sergeant major. He's like, you never tell anybody how great they are without telling them something bad. That's
horrible. I don't agree.
Like, hey, man, that was a great shot. But next time, hit it twice.
No. I'm like that in my own brain already.
Yeah?
I feel like I'm never really like fully proud of myself. I'm always like, you did good. Now keep going. Yeah, I don't allow myself the time to like feel proud of myself.
I don't know why.
I don't know.
You need to talk to Beth.
I don't know.
Need another therapy session.
But then I can tell other people all day long. I'm like, my friends and stuff. I'm like, just be happy with where you're at. Like, think about how far you've come and all that. I'm great
do
at
as I say, not as I do.
I'm great at dishing it, but like internally, I'm like,
you suck.
Yeah,
you're the worst. Do better.
Not like extreme, but like,
I don't know.
It's okay. But I think that's a cultural thing.
Yeah. Because
in Germany, you have to think.
Oh, it's like Jokic, remember? The damn Europeans. He won the NBA.
That is how I feel.
NBA championship MVP. And he's like, I'm ready to go home.
And you have to. They're like, you have to find the clip because it's hilarious. You showed me the other day. I could not stop laughing. Somebody's like, I'm ready to go home, and he's like, when do we go home? Friday.
No. Remember, he's like. They're like, Jokic, are you proud of, or are you excited for the parade on Thursday? He goes, Thursday? The parade's on Thursday? He's like, no, I have to go home. He goes, when's the parade? He's like, on Thursday. He's like, oh. And the dude in the background's like, don't worry, you can go home Friday. He goes, okay.
It's just, so like, when we graduated, we call it Realschule, but it's like high school.
Yeah, I've heard that.
But it's 10th grade. It's like, nobody does. Maybe they do now, but when I was there, when I lived there, it wasn't like, here in high school, when you graduate, it's like this huge thing, and you get a senior trip, and all these senior thing, and senior dance, and this. I mean, the amount of money that goes into this is like insane. Crazy. But if you think about it, it's harsh, but I have to say it. It's like the basic requirement of life. I know you didn't complete it, but it's like, okay, GED. High school. You did high school. Like, okay, that's like one of the most common things that is expected of you. Like,
you're supposed to do it.
So in Germany, it's like we gather in a little hall. Everybody,
congratulations, you're adults now.
You go have coffee and cake, and you're done. Like, there's no trip. There's no car. We don't drive until we're 18, so there's definitely no car. There's no like huge celebration, tons of money spent. It's like, oh, you finished what you were supposed to do. Good job. And that's how I am still to this day in my head. Like, oh, you helped this family buy a house. Oh, you met all your business goal. Okay, good. That's what you were supposed to do. Yeah. Like, now keep going. Do better. There's just not like a ton of celebration. Right. And I know when Dion graduates high school, we're going to do all those things that I always make fun of. That I didn't do. But I think that's where my mindset comes from. It's just like a lot of things are not. We don't have baby showers. We didn't used to. Like, things are becoming more Americanized. There's not like weddings. People don't spend tens of thousands of dollars. They go to a courthouse, a fancy one. Mm-hmm. They have coffee and cake, and that's it. Yeah. Like, big emphasis on coffee and pastries and cake. Anyway.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like, I don't remember any big celebrations for stuff. I think from middle school I had something, but we were always so poor. Like we would do something small at the house with like close family. Yeah, I didn't. I went to ninth grade in high school. I got kicked out of school. Tried to go back to school, and it just wasn't for me. So I left. So I never got to experience that. Even when I went to the army, when I went to boot camp, when I was like graduating, a few months after, I didn't even tell anybody about it because I was like, I don't.
Nobody came?
My ex-girlfriend and her mom came, but I didn't tell them. They just somehow they knew. I think they called or found out or something.
Yeah, they send that out to the families.
Yeah, and like they surprised me. Like I had no idea anybody was even coming.
But now, like we celebrate your stuff pretty big.
Yeah, which is weird. But even like when I got back from my deployment, I didn't tell anybody I was coming back. And then my ex-girlfriend at the time, she was like pissed off because I didn't have anybody there. I just showed up and I was like, what am I don't want to entertain people. So we got back and me and some other buddies that didn't have anybody, we like rented a hotel room and just got sloshed.
That's another episode on like trauma probably.
But yeah, I'm trying to think of like the first time I celebrated anything for myself.
Our wedding?
I think so. I think it was our wedding. But
that's why you wanted to have a wedding, probably. I didn't want to have a wedding. It's very German of me. I'm like, we don't need to spend the money.
And it wasn't a big wedding. But even now, like any accomplishment I have, I'm like, that's what I was trying to do. Like, that's the goal that I was trying to get.
I know. We're really bad.
So, but I think we've done well of like celebrating the kids and showing them.
We celebrate in different ways, I think.
Yeah.
Like, we allow ourselves freedom. We allow ourselves the time to like rest. We allow ourselves the time to travel whenever we want. So like, we celebrate it. We just don't announce it. That's what we're gonna say.
And I get the last one too. Well, not the last one, but the one after the wedding was like when I graduated from when I got my bachelor's degree. So it's not that I'm dumb. I just didn't like school.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I got my bachelor's degree, we had like a party. You surprised me with friends and family that came from Arizona,
which was awesome.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was like when I graduated from the police academy. That was fun. We had a big party, food truck. We need to do that again. We had a food truck in the driveway. We had a food truck in the driveway, taco truck. So that was dope. But yeah, I mean, we're still learning how to be parents every day. And now through like social media, we see so many different things and all these people who like coddle their kids and stuff. And it's just not us.
I know we were going to wrap it up, but I think for us too, we take advice from the people that we're around and whose kids we know, and we know their behavior and we know how they act and we know the parents for like who they are. And that's kind of what we stick to. Yeah. And we don't really seek other influences or other opinions, like on the internet especially, because that can be like, I don't believe half the things I see. Yeah. But like, we make it a priority or an effort to like surround ourselves with people with like similar values and similar goals and like well-behaved kids and just the same goals as us. So they might differ a little bit in their styles and what they do, and like we might see something that we agree with and we adopt it, and the other way around. Or just I think in general you should surround yourselves with friends in general that have same goals and values, and even better if they're parents, because we're parents right now. Obviously we have friends that don't have kids, but I think that's why I'm a little bit closer with, on occasion, with some friends that have kids, because I can relate to them on more levels.
Right.
And like they add to my life and I can maybe add to theirs too.
So that'll be it for today. So list down some parenting tips that you have, stuff that works for you and your family and your children. You've heard some of ours, so let us know what y'all think. And like always, thank you very much for listening, watching, however you're getting our content. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.